projector here. I took the painting down, but it might not show up because it's still too light out. Dark in here, but too light outside. But I've got a few things set up just in case everything goes wrong with like spreadsheets, not spreadsheets, what's the name? Not spreadsheets, the other thing, like PowerPoints, only they're not PowerPoints, they're just the slides. But you know, if you want me to do those, but you don't have to, because to be honest, I'm not sure how well it's going to go, and all my little bits of equipment have failed, and I'm running out of batteries, and it's all gone hideously wrong. I'm just trying to set up this room, and it's all over the place, really, but pretty much like my mind. But you know, you try, don't you? You try. Hello, one person that's come here. How are you? Somebody tweeted about me, and I was like, oh no, that means people might come and see me. Hello, Philip. Good. And somebody, a friendly face, somebody I know that's not going to scare me, because when somebody tweets about you, it means you might get new audience. It's expecting things, and the trouble things with expecting things is you're gonna expect things. And I wouldn't expect anything, really. It's a mess in this room. Look at my little... If you want, I can do a very potted and very not half-hearted version, boo, of my Welsh show. Or I could do the rock show, or about rocks, not about rock music, about actual rocks, like this sort of rock. Oh, I see. You were scared. I thought you were booing me. I thought you were actually like boo hiss. Oh no, that was worrying. I was like, oh no, I've lost my only fan. Ah! You're a friend, so that's okay. You can be both. Welsh show. Should we do my Welsh show? All right. Well, this is going to be interesting because I've got this projector. It might not show up, but I'm going to try my best, see whether it shows up on here, and sort of fiddle around here. So this will be technically inept, completely inept. I turn the projector on. My dad just came in through the door. He's like, when's your show starting? I'm like, ow! Go away! Yes, I know. I understand that now. So, like, you can see that. Can you see that? Is it set up? Is it coming on? Is it doing something? Boom, boom, boom. Can you see that? More or less. There you go. Is it clear? Probably not that clear. But this is my Welsh Connection show. Yes. Welsh Connection. La la! It's a flag. Except it's not the real... I don't know whether that you can be prosecuted for, like, faking a flag. I'm not sure about the Welsh flag, because it wasn't really invented until, like, not this century, the last century. I thought it was, like, an ancient heraldic thing. But apparently, no, somebody in the 50s thought it would be nice to have a Welsh flag, and so the Welsh flag was born. Now, this is not that particular Welsh flag. This is my own invention, a Welsh flag that I created. Copyright free. No, not copyright free. Copyright free for me. Anyone else has to give me lots of money for it, obviously. So this is my Welsh Connection. La 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 la. So this is what everybody looks like in Wales. As you can see, can you see? Look at this. There's a shawl and a lovely little hat. It's probably too far away to see. It's very dark, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know whether I could do anything about that, really. If I turn the light off here, then you won't be able to see me, and it won't make any difference at all. Yeah, ooh, now I'm more orange. Can you see it better? So this is what everybody in Wales looks like. And this is where we live. It's not actually. This is my mother in her every St. David's Day. She dresses up like this. Beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful. And she doesn't, that's actually next door's shed. They've replaced it and they've got a different one soon. Little bit blurry. Yeah, it's somewhat blurry. Completely blurry. Yeah. It's difficult to do, really. I should have probably set this up a lot better, shouldn't I? It's blurry in here, so I don't know whether you could see it because it's blurry to me. But basically, can you see it there? Not even any better. No, that's absolutely no better at all. So anyway, this is going to be fun, isn't it? So maybe I'll show you the thing later. So this is my mum in her Welsh costume. As everybody knows, this is what everybody in Wales wears every day. Come rain or shine. This is what they watch. Look, it's for Welsh ladies. Nobody knows what Welsh national costume for men is, though. That's a lie, because I have seen it. My nephews have dressed... I didn't when I was growing up, I had no clue. But my nephews bought some from, like, Tesco. It's basically a little hat and a little waistcoat, or waistcoat, if you want to call it that. A little waistcoat and a little sort of little tie thing and the la 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 short trousers. But basically that's not really a Welsh costume, that's just a costume that Tesco's is trying to sell to you in order to make money. Which is what shops do, really. It's not just Tesco, that's just where they got it. That is actually, to be honest, that's where I got my flag. This advertising is it blatant. This is actually what the flag is supposed to look like, not like the picture that I did. Hot pants and flat, yeah, exactly. Hot pants and flat caps, exactly, Philip. That's exactly what the Welsh national costume for men is. You got it. So, factoids. Factoids about, can you see this? Look at this. In Hereford, you can shoot a Welsh person with a longbow on a Sunday, but only within the cathedral walls. So you have to be very, very careful not to... I heard this when I first moved to England. I heard this and somebody told me that. I was living in Herefordshire and I was like, oh no, oh shit, that's not great. I'm not sure whether I should visit. And then I was like, is that true? And I'm not sure because I think it's one of those local bylaws. I think York's got a similar one. I did have. And it's nobody sure whether anybody's actually changed it. Whether it's still actually a sort of defence. I wouldn't like to risk it. I really wouldn't like to risk it. Can you see that? Can you see the words on this? Is it really blurry? It is really blurry, isn't it? I'm going to try and unblur it. No, that's made it worse. La la la. Bear with me. Technical problems. Is that any better at all? Not really. We'll just have to bear with me. I'll just read you the factoids that you can't actually see yourself. This is a... dismal failure. That's fine. I've completely gone blurry here. All blurry, blurry, blurry. You can't see it. Well, that's what it says. You just have to take my word for it that that's what it says. So, you know, it'll be in the background. I just turn the light on for me. So you can see me. And you won't be able to see this. I'll just read you what it says and you just have to see, and you might be able to get to it. Lisa, in 2004, the Welsh Language Use Survey showed that 21.7% of the population spoke Welsh, compared with 20.8% in the 2001 census. Ooh, you can see the word cathedral, good. And at 2011 census shows a slight decline to 562,000, or 90% of the population. That's how many speak Welsh. But that, I don't know whether that is, because since then Duolingo's come up and apparently there's millions of people all around the world, but they're not actually in Wales. Now since then, when I first wrote this show, I did not speak really very much Welsh. All the Welsh that I knew is going to be in this next part of the show. But just pretend that I don't speak any Welsh at all. And I'm going to say nobody in Wales speaks Welsh, but I'm in Wales now, and I sort of do speak Welsh in that I can sort of read a Welsh book ish. But nobody in Wales speaks Welsh. Just bear with me and just pretend. It's one of those conceits that you go with. To be honest, when I had Welsh people in my audience when I did this live a couple of years ago, I'd go, nobody in Wales speaks Welsh. You're from Wales, aren't you? You don't speak Welsh. And sometimes they play along and go, no, I don't. And sometimes they genuinely didn't, because it's only 20%, and that's not everybody. But usually they go, no, I can actually speak Welsh. And they throw in the whole thing. What level of Welsh do I speak? Very, infant school level of Welsh. It's not high Welsh, but I would say that of the percentage of the population that speak Welsh, if I lived in Wales, then I would be one of those that count as being able to understand, but not really speak, the Welsh language. Cymraeg. There you go. Cymraeg. That's a word in Welsh meaning Welsh. Good. Lovely. Now, Cymru means Wales. Cymraeg means Welsh. Cymraeg. Cymraeg. It's quite high. But, you know, if I went to school with my level of Welsh, they'd probably put me in the back of the class and put a big dunce's cap on me. Dunce. D for diolch. Thank you very much. Shut up. Don't speak Welsh. We don't need you to speak Welsh. It sounds horrible when you say it. But I try. So anyway, you have to pay to get into Wales. So when I wrote this, Cymru with a U, actually. That's not how you spell it, but it's a good go. It's nearly like that. It's got a U at the end of it. Ooh, you for you and me. When I wrote this show, it was true that you had to pay to get into Wales, but it was free to get out. But since then, they have abolished all fees. You can get into Wales for free and get out for free. Except since then, other things have happened, and you weren't even allowed to go in Wales. For a whole year, I couldn't get into Wales through public transport. You had to have a really good excuse because of things that happened in the world, which you might have experienced as well. I don't know, travel restrictions and everything. But now I'm in Wales again after a whole year. I did pay to get, is Wales funny? It's hilarious. Ha 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 ha! Wales. Welsh, they've got a good sense of humour. Yay. Oh, the My Being Glyndŵr Sons of Glyndŵr. They're not very funny. They haven't got a good sense of humour. They did lots of bad things in the 70s. Look them up. I'm not going to go into it. But they were... Owen Glyndŵr is a very famous Welshman back in the day. He was Prince of Wales, Prince of part of Wales, not Prince of all of Wales. And he tried to get free Wales, and everybody... yeah, but it is free now to get into. Yeah, exactly, Boheme. So yeah, Plaid Cymru, they're not anywhere near as hardcore as the My Being Glyndŵr, but they are there. And some of England used to be some of Wales, but some of Wales used to be some of England, but not much. It's usually some of England used to be some of Wales. I looked this up, and it's not even the Welsh marshes. They're as far as marches. The Welsh marches, there's marshes as well. The marches used to be as far afield as Lancashire, Herefordshire, Gloucestershire, bits of Somerset, up and down and all around. But Wales used to be all the way far as Scotland, and most of what is England now was part of Wales, and now it's not. So maybe it should be again and again and again. Revolutionary talk. Oh, I don't know whether I should say that sort of thing. But yeah, it used to be. Okay, so Welsh perceptions. What do you think of people? When you think of Welsh people, what do you think? Anyone? Yeah, do you think of the land of song? Of course, everybody sings. Everybody sings. You've heard me sing. Obviously, I sing. I go, la, la, la. Oh, so good. Yes. What else? We're stuck in the past. One of the things that I always heard is you live in caves up there in that Wales. We know you don't have any electricity. Generous funny folk, exactly. I think so much. I think too that we are, Philip, but when I was growing up it was like, oh, there was the butt of the joke, or the butty of the joke, on all of the sitcoms and everything. People from Wales were made fun of, and as if we lived in the cave, as if we were the Flintstones. We didn't have electricity, and to be fair, I couldn't get Channel 4 when I was younger. We could get S4C, which is S4C. But I could not speak Welsh at that point, so I was like, no, I want to point the aerial so I can get Channel 4 with like cheers and things like that on it. Not Torri Gwynt, which I did actually watch. Torri Gwynt was like a sketch show in Welsh. It means breaking wind, which me and my brother always thought was very funny. So we didn't know that much Welsh, and we'd watch it and laugh, even though we really didn't understand it. We liked it when they said things like microwave and spam. Actually, Poppity Ping is apparently the what people say that microwave is in Welsh, or microdon, which just sounds like a tiny little a tiny little thing from The Godfather. It's not. Microdon is the word for microwave, or microwave, maybe, if you want to. It's you know, it's a new word. But we used to laugh when there was something that sounded like it should be English. But then I found out that it's sort of a borrowed word, and it is Welsh. Even though it sounds like it's English, it's still Welsh. It's just spelt differently. For instance, bus is bws in Welsh, with a W instead of bws. And pysgod, that's a different bit. Pysgod, it's fish. That's not a borrowed word, I just like it. Pysgod. And sglodion. Do you know what sglodion is? It's chips. They're very important things to know, isn't it? Fish and chips and a bus. That's the most things that you really need to know. If you want to know anything, fish and chips and a bus. You really don't need anything else except for that. Really. Pysgod. Yeah. Which has got cod in it, so it is a bit similar. Anyway, yes, I digress. Anyway, what was I saying? Stuck in the past. We're not stuck in the past. No. It's full of sheep and not much else. Apparently, that's what people say. Nothing's flat in Wales. Well, flat is flat. I'm not on the flat here. No, it's mostly up in the mountains. Like, I'm really high up here. It's sort of flat here, but actually, in order to get to here, you have to go up and up and up and up and up and up and up. I'm not even in the foothills. I'm in the belly hills of the mountains of Wales, where I am right at this second now. Yes. So what else? Boyos and butties. It's like, oh, boyo. But you're a boyo, but it's just friends. We're friendly people in Wales. Friendly people. That's what it is. That's all it is. Miners. Used to be that there were a lot of miners in Wales, and then they all grew up. No. It used to be narrow gauge, yeah, very narrow gauge railways, yes, but we don't have, like, the railways all got torn up. There's a lot of old, I mean, you might have seen me walk around on the old railways, really. Internet reception is terrible in Wales, as you can attest by watching any of my shows in the last week, which have failed miserably. Oh, it's hot in here. It's really hot. Anyway, it's hot down the mines. I've been down the mines. Oh, it was a hard work down the mines. I visited a mine. You see a picture of me in the mine later. Hard work down there. You couldn't bring cameras down there. It was above the mines that I took the picture. Anyway, miners. But of course, in the 80s, all of the mines mainly got shut up. It's a hard day in the joke. It is, exactly. Anyway, it's a hard day in the joke mines. Yes. Get the joke. Make it come out of the hard wall. Yes. Anyway, it's yeah. So there aren't really any miners anymore, but there were. My grandfather was a miner, and his father was a miner. They were actually all publicans as well. They did a lot of drinking, and a friend of mine used to say that Methodists, they were Methodists, were drinkers, and I was like, don't be silly. That's not true. My family's not. They're teetotal. I think you'll find they're not. And then I realised that most of my ancestors were actually publicans as well as miners, so maybe there is something in that. All the pubs have closed as well. Ah, famous Welsh people. There you go. Who have you got there? You've got. Can you name them all? Start to pretend. La 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 la. Who's the first one? Anyone? It's Richard Burton. Not the one that wrote Arabian Nights, 1,000 Nights and a Night. It's Tom Jones. Yes, Tom Jones is down there. That's Tom Jones. Who else can you see? There's oh. I think that's one of the Henrys. It's so long since I made this. One of the Henrys, or Edward, somebody, the first Prince of Wales. I'm going to say there's a king in there. It's like the first Prince of Wales that wasn't actually Welsh. They tricked them because they took over it's like Prince of Wales. Ha ha ha! We will take over, and the English king took over, and he's like, and the Welsh people were like, well, we will not have a Prince of Wales, and let he is born in the land of Wales, and he speaks no word of English. And they're like, all right, there you are. There's my baby son. I made sure that my wife was all the way here. I got her in a castle. She gave birth. He doesn't speak English yet because he's a baby. Ha ha ha! He's the Prince of Wales. Can't remember his name. Yeah, well researched. That's what you'll always get heard about my when they review them. Oh, she doesn't do any research. Can I zoom? Zoom. Can I zoom? Well, I can zoom. Amazingly, if I do this, I can zoom. Can you see these? It's all blurry. That's really. But there they are. There. That's probably better. Can you see them there? Do you know who they are? There you go. Catherine Jenkins. Oh, that was very chinny there. Catherine Jenkins, one of them is. Yeah, and Shirley Bassey, who's from Tiger Bay. You can't see any of them. Reginald Bow. No, I don't think so. Obviously, Dylan Thomas. Under Milk Woods. Oh, I went to Larne once. He wrote in a shed. I saw a picture of the shed from the other angle the other day, and it was on stilts, and it looks like it's going to fall into the sea. So he's a very brave man. He also did drink, actually, so he's another Welsh person that drank quite a lot. Reginald Bow, I don't know who that is. Anyway, look at that, and some people, and that's some Welsh people, the most famous Welsh people in the world. Richard Burton, Dylan Thomas. Oh, look, I actually wrote Catherine Jenkins, Henry IV, there you go, Shirley Bassey, Tom Jones. Now, I don't think he was the Prince of Wales, but he was born in Wales. Reginald Bosanquet, oh, right, well, I'm sure that he was. Here also, Stereophonics, the super furry animal, Grogs. Have you seen Grogs? That's rugby players, sort of like ugly rugby playing gnomes things. So that's what rugby players from the olden days, the Pontypool front row, and all the people that played the I'm from Pontypool, so I was like, oh, learned all about Pontypool front row when I was a kid, and I saw when I was grown up, I was used to this sort of rugby player, these sort of rough, gruff, rah, 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 rah. Yeah. Do you? Yes, they're good bands. There's 3 bands there, and also rough, gruff rugby players. And then somebody showed me a video of the French rugby team doing a calendar. And it was about their calendar, and they were basically really, really, really well toned men, very handsome men, sort of half naked, soaping each other up. Not at all the rugby player I was used to from seeing of old. Yes, also Max Boyce, who is also, he is the King of Wales. He is very up and under. Here we go. Yes. Yakida, Oggy, 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 Oi, 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 and all of that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes. Just all the old rugby players were like, well. And now they're all like, oh, I'm handsome and I am a model and I am on the television, half naked. And the Manic Street Preachers, yes, there's all of them, including Nicky Wire, who disappeared. And some say that he disappeared, and the last place he was seen was the River Severn, which is the river that sort of divides, not all the way up, but divides Wales from England. You have to go across it if you're going from the bottom, mostly from London and that area and the south of England. You have to go across the Severn in order to get into Wales. If you're from Manchester and Liverpool and all of that area, and Liverpool, yeah, I said Liverpool, you can just go in. There's no river to cross, really. But yeah, some of the best actors are Welsh. Yes, they are, yes. Lots of Welsh actors. You can name them, I'm sure. So many. He might have done, that is, I think, on part of the Severn, estuary. There you go. Pride. Howl at the moon. Ah ha ha. Howl. Hoyle, it's actually. Hoyle. It's the pride of being Welsh. Pride. Why is there no screen Welsh person who's actually Welsh? This is a bane of my existence. There are a few now, but when I was growing up, there's always, if you watch The Englishman who came down a hill and went up a mountain, or whatever it is, most of the people, I think it's Tara somebody, she wasn't Welsh, and there was also Jane Horrocks played a Welsh person. She definitely wasn't Welsh, and Rachel, the other one that was in Muriel's Wedding that wasn't the main one, she played like in something called Very Annie Mary, and it just annoy me when people pretended to be Welsh. Oh, the very latest one since I wrote this show is in the show I can't remember. It's about the BBC, and it's W1, something like that. And the person in that plays a Welsh person, so annoying. She played Rose West. I can't remember her name. She played Rose West, and I thought that was really good, and she did a good Rose West. But playing a Welsh person is so annoying. It's like, don't do that terrible accent. I am just... And everyone's so top. Top means stupid. Everyone sounds stupid, and they play it up, and they make... It's like, oh, I'm Welsh, and I know it. Oh, what's all these things? Oh, I'm so stupid, me. Oh, W1A, that's it. Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm going to say stupid things in a stupid accent. That's what Welsh people that aren't really Welsh do, Welshy accents. It's really, really annoying to me. Well, no, Gavin and Stacey, they were actually Welsh. So this is a lot better than it used to be. I think we've come along somewhat, a little bit along, up and down, and where is it? There, the Mabinogion. I talked about the Mabinogion. It is a stereotype, though. It's very definitely a stereotype that we're all tup and we live in the caves. And we're all going, and we only speak Welsh when there's English people about. Yeah, that's what the Welsh stereotype is, and it's completely not true. It's ridiculous. Off Nadwi. It's rubbish. It's rubbish. Alright, yeah, anyway, the Mabinogion. I talked about my flatmate about the Mabinogion. I'm like, oh, you must know what the Mabinogion is. He's like, no. It's like, are you sure? Like the Blodwen, who's like made out of flowers, and have you not read the Owl Service? No clue. completely not true. No, just the Mabinogi on, and it's where there's King Arthur stories in it. It's a very famous folk tales from Wales. Thompson Catty, have you read of him? Have you heard of him? It's like nobody knows these very important Mabinogi. All the Welsh tales of old. Is the Welsh Bigfoot? I don't know, is what the Welsh Bigfoot? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh yeah, the Boys of the Pontypool Front Row, which I briefly touched on. They were so famous when I was younger. It's like everybody in the Welsh rugby team in like, I think it was 1976. Everyone still talks about it. You know how the English people talk about 1966 when we won the World Cup, la 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 la. Well, Welsh people, especially in Pontypool, 1976, everyone on the front row when we won the Four Nations, I think it was at the time. It wasn't the Six Nations or whatever it is now. Oh, because I think it was remarkably a lot easier when there was only 4 nations than it is when you've got more than that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the more 5 nations, 6 nations, the more nations you put on, the harder it is to win. But anyway, they won. It was like, oh, Grand Slam, it's a big thing. And oh, everyone talks about the Boys of the Pontypool Front Row, including Max Boyce. Oh, the Boys of the Pontypool Front Row. And we were obsessed with it. They still talk about it. You know, if you go to the gym in the leisure centre, you can see people that used to be in the Pontypool Front Row years ago, still trying to keep it on there. Yes, everybody still knows somebody that knows somebody that was on. I think I went to school with somebody whose dad was one of them. And everyone was like, ooh, Eisteddfod. They were very big in the day. Eisteddfod is when you do creative things. You do speechifying. You do verses. You're a bard. And you sing and you dance and you do art. It's very important. It's very important for Welsh people to do artistic things. Haha, the Eisteddfod. When I was a kid, we used to have Eisteddfods in my school every year, and I would win the ribbons, and I would be like covered in ribbons, and I was desperate to win all the ribbons. Oh, I had ribbons everywhere. My auntie, who was very big in Eisteddfod back in the day, she had little silk purses. She used to go around all the Eisteddfod, and she used to do recitations, and she'd get little silk purses with money in them, and I've still got those silk purses to these days. Oh, the Eisteddfods, they were so good. And I think the Eisteddfod, the International, and I think that's around about now. I'm missing it on the TV. It used to annoy me, though, that they used to put the Eisteddfod on the television, on all the English television as well, in Wales, because we only had really one, So before S4C, all the Welsh stuff went onto the English on the BBC and the ITV and everything. And so all the children's programmes would be replaced by Welsh things, which, not speaking Welsh as a child, I used to be, yes, Esped Warek now. That's, since the 80s, but, so annoying. Lava bread. Do you know what lava bread is? Can you take a guess? There you go. It's bits of volcano rock that come out volcano. Look there, you see all the different sort of bread, and then they land on somebody in Pompeii. That's lava bread for you. No, it's not. Of course it's not. It's seaweed. Yes, it's seaweed. It's very specific. It's not bread, actually. It's more like the seaweed. It's very soft seaweed. It's very nice, and and you can get it in cans and everything. And you can put it with oats and I think bacon if you're a bacon-esque person, and fry it all up and nice. It's not actually bread. Bara brith. And bara is bread. Bara brith is raisiny bread, which is nice. Or cake. It's like cake. It's like fruit cake. But bara is bread. But lava bread is actually just seaweed with a bit of salt and a bit of flavouring, and it's really nice, soft seaweed. It's surprisingly nice. I didn't have it till I was an adult. What are some good Welsh? Well, Welsh cakes. Now, my parents, my grandmother used to cook Welsh cakes, but she used to call them bakestones. As after what is bread? Exactly what is bread? Bara is bread, but I can't remember what they called in Welsh, but I've got the word for it in a minute. But Welsh cakes, which in Wales, or this part of Wales, we call bakestones. In other parts of Wales, they call other things. Look, words. I'll teach you some words, shall I? Welsh cakes in Shropshire, largy jacks. Oh, well, I think they're probably slightly different. Words. Hwyl! It's pride. Croeso, as welcome, welcome. Cymru, it's Wales. Cwtch, that might not be spelt right. I've been informed that it should have an S, but most of the things like the knickknacks and stuff you buy, it would be with a C. So it can be with a C, it can be with an S. It really depends. I mean, it's like, oh, that's not how you do CH in Welsh, but it's got a T before it, so it could be with an S, CWTSH. I've got it CWTCH because that's how most people spell it. It's just one of those things. Maybe it's regional. Bach, little, tiny, dear, darling. Bach, hey, Bach. Ha, get back. Yes. Billy Doka! That's a puffin! It's a puffin. It was also a Welsh television programme for children. Poblacion, People of the Valley, a Welsh television programme. Pilipala, it's a butterfly. There's another word for butterfly, I can't remember what it is. Pilipala means butterfly, also a Welsh TV programme for children. Falabalam doesn't really mean anything. It's falabalam. It's just a sort of made up word, really. I think it probably means something like a villagey thing. It was about what it was terrifying, right? There was this person that would be striding over this model village. You get these tiny little houses and they'd go, wow, and they tell you stories, I think. It was in Welsh and I didn't understand Welsh at the time. But it was terrifying. It was like this giant stomping on these tiny little houses. That's probably not what it was. Poblacion, yes. But falabalam, baloo, balam, balay. That's balay. Torri Gwent, which I've already gone through. That is Breaking Wind, which was also a television programme when I was younger. Now, it's big in Patagonia as Welsh. Big in Patagonia. That lovely llama. The Chubut province in Patagonia, Argentina, was formed by Welsh settlers in 1865. There's a lot of people from these areas that moved abroad because there was a lot of mine accidents and terrible things. I know a lot of people from this area moved to Pennsylvania in North America. And so much so that my dad, he did a DNA test and he's got a genetic link with all the people in Pennsylvania. But Patagonia, they speak a lot of Welsh there. There's little tiny pockets of Welsh. There are still about 5,000 Welsh speakers in that region. In the Falklands War, Welsh soldiers that went over there that spoke Welsh and Welsh-speaking prisoners of war from Argentina apparently made fun of both the Argentinian and the English officers together in Welsh. So they found a common cause, and it's nice that they're bonding over things, isn't it? So they were happy, and they ripped the pee out of all the English posho soldiers. And who can say that there's anything wrong in that? Nobody. That sounds like a jolly good jape. Yes, you've been to Patagonia. I bet it's really good. It sounds really good. I'd like to go to Patagonia and see a llama. Look at that llama. That is picture from freedigitalphotos.net. So I had the right to use that picture. Haha. Leeks and daffodils. There's a daffodil. Daffodils. Now apparently, the thing is, the word for leek and the word for daffodils. Now it's kennin is the word for a leek, and I think it's very similar to the word for daffodil. And so during a particular battle, in order to distinguish the Welsh soldiers from the English soldiers that are coming in, the person in charge was like, get a little leek from, he said it in Welsh obviously, a kennin from the ground and stick it on and we will know that that we are the Welsh. Now to be honest, a daffodil or a leek on you is going to look really stupid. So whether it's actually a daffodil or a leek, I'm not entirely sure whether there's any truth in this. It would look less stupid to have a daffodil on you, to be honest. But kennin is the word, if you're interested. This is Duolingo. People will understand this. The word for a parsnip is panas. Now, if you put panas all over you, then you would be then Owen Glyndŵr. No, any Owen would recognise you, and so would Megan and Morgan. And Duolingo. Duolingo would definitely recognise you if you knew about the panas. Anyway, daffodils, and whether it's daffodils or leeks, who can tell? But they're very big. They are the Welsh flower of Wales and the Welsh vegetable of Wales. The Welsh vegetable is the leek. The leek. So if you want to get on with it, people from Wales, wear lots of daffodils in your hair and stink of leeks. No, that's not what you want to do. Don't do that. Yeah. So S4C, S4CU, Taffy. See, now when I was growing up, before I spoke any Welsh, we used to tell, yes, actually, leeks taste well. And that's another thing. I'm going to go back on this. Yeah. I heard that they were selling things in the supermarket a couple of years ago. They had some daffodils, but they had the bulbs there, and they put them near the vegetables, and people that didn't recognise what they were, they went in bloom, bought them thinking they were onions and got very poisoned. So don't eat daffodils, basically. That was very nice. Anyway, when I was growing up, there was a rumour that you couldn't get a job in Wales unless you were one of the Taffy and you knew all the other Welsh people. I don't know about that. Anyway, sheep. That's another thing. You know, that's another thing about everybody from Wales does things with sheep. I think New Zealand people, maybe South Africa, anywhere where there's sheep, you get this, oh yeah, sheep, oh, you married sheep, there was no sheep. Well, to be honest, there's a lot of sheep in Wales. I think there's like 3 million people-ish in Wales, and there's about 20 times as many sheep. I have the actual facts and figures somewhere, but I can't see them offhand here. But would you really? Sheep. I mean, I took a picture of a sheep. I've just shown it you. This is a sheep that I took a picture of. Look at the state of that sheep. It's just that fur hanging off it. I don't want to body shame this sheep. But would you really? Look at the state of that sheep. It's all over the place. It looks like it's got an extra leg. Its fur's all over. It's not fur, is it? It's wool. It is lonely on those hills. But look at the state. No, you wouldn't, would you? That's an actual sheep that I took a picture of. Nah, it's not going to happen. Cool, Camry. That's what I was really happy about in the last few years. Instead of being made fun of, it's cool to be Welsh. It's cool. It's so cool. It is. Catatonia, that's years old then. It's much better. It's to be proud of being Welsh. Whereas before it was like, oh no, I'm not going to tell anyone. Not in college, I didn't tell anyone that I was Welsh. I went out my way to make sure that nobody knew that I was Welsh, because another girl that went to the same school as me and went to my college, it was in Northampton, was called her. I found out, I didn't talk to her and I kept away from her, so nobody would. It's terrible, really. She's a good friend of mine, but I kept away from her because I knew that her nickname was Blodders, like Blodwyn, and I was like, I don't want to be mocked, and so I will stay away and pretend that I don't know this person, which is a terrible thing. I am ashamed of myself because I did not want to be mocked. Anyway, it's cool now. Cool. Look at the thing. Doctor Who. That was filmed in Wales. Not anymore. It was when I wrote this show. And Torchwood was still on when I wrote this show. It's a while ago, to be honest. Yeah. Why would I hide being Welsh? I know. It's because I got mocked. That's what I'm saying. It used to be a mocking offence. People would make fun of the Welsh in the same way that they don't do it so much on television, but you know, they would make fun of Irish people and Welsh people, and they would say things about Scottish people that were quite mean as well, basically. And they would also mock Northerners and people from the West Country and people from the Isle of Man. Basically, they would make fun of everyone. So it's a little bit better than that now, really. A little bit better than that. There's Doctor Who and Torchwood. What else? Millennium Stadium. They've renamed that since then. It's not called the Millennium Stadium anymore, but it was in the Millennium. Something else now. Gold! Did you know that like loads of like engagement rings and wedding rings, like the royal family get all their gold from Wales. They come here and they nick all our gold. Gold! Yes. Clodai. I know. There's Welsh. There's Clogau. That's it. Clogau. Clogau Welsh. Yes, only the English mock Wales. That's a good point. Yeah, the English mock everybody. That's what I'm saying. The English even mock themselves. It's like it's southeastern English people is the problem. They mock people from London. They mock people from the north. They mock people from Wales and the West Country and Gloucestershire and England from the north of England, and they mock Scottish people and the Welsh people and the Northern Irish people. And they go, aha, the Garden of England. If you're from the Garden of England, good for you. But they are very mocking of everyone else. No, the Welsh are very self-effacing. They self-efface. That's what they do. Yes, gold. What else? And stuff. There's definitely more stuff about Wales that's very, very good. It's good-hearted. Well, you say that. It's difficult. It's like if you're the person's being mocked, it's quite difficult to take the joke. If you are mocking, you're, aha, it's all in fun, I'm only joking. It's like, good. Thank you. Spoons. Welsh love spoons. Do you want to see some Welsh love spoons? I'll bring you on a tour. My father makes Welsh love spoons, which is unfortunate. I've lost you. I knocked it off and I thought I was talking to you, and then I realised I wasn't talking. What did I say about love spoons? Yeah, my dad's always made love spoons, and when I was a kid, he made a love spoon and he gave it to me, and I gave it to the teacher, and yes, exactly. And then the teacher said, here it is back. It was like a show and tell, and I was like, no, my dad said you can keep it. And then the teacher completely made fun of me, and she was like, ah ha ha ha, is your father in love with me? Ah ha ha ha. And I was like, no, it was a nice thing to do, I thought. Anyway, these are some of the love spoons. Can you see them? That my dad, he made that and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. No, he didn't make that one. That he gave me to give to the teacher. And he made that and that and that. He didn't make that. That's not a love spoon. He didn't make that. And that, I think that's a commercial one. And that he made, and that and that and that. That's a pipe. That's not one. Anyway, he made 99% of these. They are the love spoons that my father made, that I got mocked for in school. Aha, teachers. Yeah, don't be that person. Oh, somebody's took the light one. Is that me? Anyway, yes, I think we should end this show by singing the Welsh National Anthem. You can all join in with me. Now, for the purposes of this, I'm going to assume that you don't know Welsh, and I am going to also pretend that I know no Welsh. I know what the Welsh National Anthem is about. Here it is. Where is it? Die back and think of England. That's a joke, isn't it? There you go. Mind your language. Fartig. Oh, I'll tell you about that too. Yeah, Fartig. See, you're supposed to have bilingual signs in Wales before I go. And all of them have got the Welsh and the English for a particular place name. There's a place called, the sound for F in Welsh is double F. F, double F. The sound for V is one F. One F. So that's very important. There's a place called Fartig. And in English it's spelt with a V. V-A-R-T-E-G. It's fair. Teg means fair. Var means something. Don't know. I'm not sure. It's fair something. Fairview. Something like that. We'll just skim over that. I don't speak that much Welsh. I'm going to say that. But anyway, the sign for this is right next to a Welsh language junior school, which has only been there fairly recently. It used to be an English language one. And the Welsh language junior school was outraged that the sign right outside their school did not have the Welsh version of Fartig on it. And so they replaced it. And the Welsh language of Fartig is F-A-R-T-E-G, which looks to all intents and purposes to somebody that speaks English like fart egg. Fart egg. And the sign got stolen. And they put it up again, and the sign got stolen. And then the sign got sort of mocked, and everyone talked about the sign. And in the end, the Welsh language people went, yeah, you've got a point. So now I think it's only in the English language with a V, because it did say fart egg. And that was outrageous. Yes, the Welsh definitely do outraged. They definitely do. So that's it. Bilingual. Yeah, what else have I got? Food you like. Oh, let's go through. Yeah, crempog. Pikelets. They're like little Scotch pancakes, only they're Welsh. Yeah. There you go. Baked stones. Welsh cakes. There you know. Peace back. Pigai i mine. That's other words for Welsh cakes, if you want to know. So peace back. Pigai i mine. Yep. And moron! Haha! What's a moron? It is a carrot! Haha! I wasn't calling you bad names. It's a carrot. My auntie that moved to Wales, crumpets. The crumpets are slightly different, really. Crumpets are a little bit different to all of them. My auntie that went, yes, are you a carrot? Good. My auntie that went to France, that won all the Eisteddfods, she very proudly had a tea towel. A lot of people have this tea towel that's got all the foods from Wales on it. I've seen it everywhere, really. But the proudest thing that she used to put it up and you show it to everyone in France so that they could see the word moron, which was carrot. Saucepan, I think I had an angel video here. I think there's also a leek video on my channel, so you can see any of your angel videos that you want, my angel videos, or the leek video. I think I might have more than one on my channel, so we won't have to go for that. But Saucepan Fach, Hen Wlad Fi Nad I. It's so that is basically the Welsh national anthem. So do you know about the Welsh national anthem? Look, there it is. There it is. That's the actual words in Welsh. Here, my hen wlad fi nadai I anwyl I mi. Glad. It's just basically about being very proud to be Welsh. Now, I know that you probably can't read that, probably can't see it, but I'll go through it. I'll do it in a way that will be easier for you to say it. Look there. It means this land of my fathers is dear to me, land of poets and singers and people of stature, and brave warriors, fine patriots, shed their blood for freedom. Land, lad, I'm true to my land, as long as the sea serves as a wall for this pure dear land. Gwlad, gwlad, Plaidol. Now, sing us the song. Let's sing it all together. And here, you can join along if you can see it. There. I've made it so you can join in with the sort of, I've made it so that you can read the words without knowing Welsh. You can just read what it says. My henw lad fern had die an in an oi willy me. That's not real. Gwlad by wrath that corion en wogion o free. I gwrol rwfel wir glad gawat I mad, dros drydydd col lasant I gwaed. Gwlad, gwlad, plaid oil we fim gwlad, gwlad. Tramo am fyr, i'r byr hoff bai, o bated I henai bahai. Is it buffering yet? Is it buffering? I don't know. Glad, glad, plaid oil we fim glad. Tramo an fyr, i'r byr hoff bai, o bated I henai bahai. Forever, forever. There you go, we're all Welsh now. Hwyl fawr. Goodbye. Ooh, hwyl fawr. Very well done. Thank you very much. Whoops, there's a picture of me. Whee! And then that's it. So thank you very much for joining in with me this terrible, terrible show. This is not exactly, whoops, not exactly. Woo! I put the light back on. You can't see me. I turned the light off. There you go. Whoa! There I am again. And I turned that one off. There you go. Thank you, very people. Wow. Oh, Danger Otter, how dare you. Okay, so that was the Welsh Connection, also known as Stealth Welsh. I hope you appreciated that. You couldn't really see. I tried to make you see the things, but, you know, it was interactive in a way. So thank you very much, Danger Otter. Thank you very much. Well done for being wherever you're from. I'm going to see you tea time. Yes, let's have tea. The Welsh word for tea is tea. The Welsh word for coffee is te, actually. Te is tea, and coffee is coffee. Dwi'n hoffi coffee. I like coffee. Dwi'n hoffi te. Yeah. Dwi'n hoffi sglodion. I like chips. Yay. Dwi'n... Elise, dwi. Hwyl fawr. See you there. Vancouver. Oh, I like Vancouver. I went to Vancouver once. It was like, it's a great light. It's a light. A light that's like no other light. It's a northern light. It's a very good... I like Vancouver. Sglodion. Sglodion is chips. Sglodion with a G. Yeah. Wow. All right then. I will leave you to go and have some tea or some coffee or some something else. Chocolate. Chocolate. Chocolate is spelled S-I-O-C-L-E-D. Chocolate. Of course it is. See you then. Bye bye. For now. See you tomorrow.